Hello, everyone. Welcome, welcome, welcome. So, hey to my Kimspiration crew. Welcome back to the Kim Abrams Show, where we can heal, learn, grow, and just be inspired by the Word of God. I'm your host, Kimberly Abrams, and this is your space for real conversations, real faith, and real growth. So, let's get into today's episode, you guys. So today we're going to be talking about letting go of what did not serve you. And so that's kind of what we're going to be talking about today, letting go of what didn't serve you in 2025, because we all in this world, I feel like, carried on so much baggage from last year, and we just went through so many things, and it just kind of went from there. So yeah, we're definitely going to be discussing everything today, and I'm super excited, y'all. Like I'm really super excited. So, who's ready for 2026, all the great things that's going to happen this year? Y'all, in the book of Psalms 5:3, it talks about praying with expectation. So, this is about expecting God to do big things this year. And we all know that I love a new year because you get time to just be like, okay, let me start over fresh. And it's okay to just walk and say, okay, let me start over fresh. Let me do things differently. And just being able to say, I'm going to expect that, as a Christian, we want to be able to have high expectations, and we just know that God is going to do everything he promised that he said he was going to do. That's the thing I love about God, because when I pray, I know it's going to happen. It might not happen like when I want it to happen or how I want it to happen, but it's going to happen. You see what I'm saying? And that's what I like about God. Like, God is real. God is amazing. And it's just not about what God can do for me or for you. It's about how God come through. God literally comes through, and I don't have to rely on people for joy or for validation. I just know that God says, I am wonderful and fearfully made. And I don't have to worry about everybody else. Like, well, they didn't validate me. Like, long time ago, I used to seek people for their validation. But for now, y'all, like, I am literally like, I don't need your validation. Like, this year, everything is going to be different. And like I said, we all go through things in our life. We all go through things. So, while you guys are at it, if this episode at any given time is going to be speaking to you, share it with another woman, share it with someone you know. And I want you guys to join me this entire month of January to as we heal, learn, grow, and just being realigned with the Word of God. I want you guys to walk with me through this journey, and we're going to do all this together, you guys. So yeah, we're going to go ahead and get started, and we're going to be talking about letting go of what didn't serve you in 2025. So for me, I just feel like, just because you survived 2025 doesn't mean like you're supposed to carry it into the next season. Like, that survival, you don't supposed to carry this all this baggage that we had in 2025 into the next seasons, because some things were necessary for you, like, basically for who you were, like, as a person. Because sometimes God has like these different seasons for us, and everybody's seasons are different, but not for who you're becoming, right? So for the person we're becoming, 2026 is going to be different. If you went through all that things in 2025, that was just us learning, growing, and healing. And then now we're in a different season. But if you were in a season where everything was good for you, that's amazing as well. um but for the people who actually went through a lot last season, and now this is 2026, this is a new season for you guys. So I want you guys to pause, and I want you to just let that just sink in, about how last year was necessary for who you were, but not for who you're going to become. Okay, so this is different. So I have my question, and I want y'all to put this in the comments. And I want to see, like, what's the pain and things like that. Like pain is like the hardest thing for me to actually let go of, or something like that. So what is hard for you guys to let go of? Is it people? Is it pain? Is it past mistakes? Or is it the old versions of you? Like, which one is it? And put that in the comment section below. And we're going to see how many old versions of me, it's hard to let go of, or how many past mistakes, or how much pain, or is it just hard to let go of people? Because, like, people, I feel like we get attached to people, like, for when we first meet somebody, we get all excited, and then people portray and put on the facade of who they think they want to be, but they're not really that person. And then you get so attached to that person, and then when they start treating you wrong, it's hard to let go of those type of people, right? Because you were just thinking about who they used to be or who you thought they were, but they really weren't that person. And so, like, pain, for me, I think it's hard for me to let go of pain, but I think what helps is me just being able to pray to God and then allowing Him to just handle that pain. But that's the reason why it's so amazing that we can let things go and we can leave everything in God's hand, and we don't have to worry about carrying the weight of our own burdens and our own issues. So pain for me, I think, is a whole like issue, you know what I'm saying? Like, for me to like hold on to, because I think we hold on to it because we don't want to be hurt again. And then when we talk about like past mistakes and stuff like that, past mistakes, I think people hold on to that because they're afraid of what the future actually looks like. But to be honest, I'm here today to tell you guys that your past mistakes does not define where you're going in life. It does not dictate who you're going to be, where you're going to go. Like, your past just can't dictate where you're going to go in life. Only person that can dictate that is you. And honestly, when we talk about validation earlier, the only person that you need to be your hype person is you. Literally, you don't need 1,000 people clapping for you. You need just yourself to clap for you. You don't need everybody. I don't need your validation. That's how you have to walk into 2026. I don't need your validation. I don't need you to clap for me. I'm clapping for myself. I validate myself. I'm going to look in the mirror and tell myself, I'm talking to myself. I am everything. I'm smart. I'm becoming the woman I am today. I am, wonderful and fearfully made. I am intelligent. I have everything I need. I am amazing. I am beautiful. I am everything. Like, you have to talk to yourself and tell yourself things so that you don't come back with these same mistakes last year. Everything that you did last year, you got to flip it around and do something different. You can't keep doing the same thing and expect a different results. Because like I tell everybody, if you want a different result in your life and you want things to look different, you have to do something different. You cannot keep doing the same thing and expecting different results. We got to get up, we got to fight, we got to keep going. And this year, I always tell everybody, don't take your foot off the gas. Don't just hit brakes. You can hit a little brake, because it's time to like stop at that little yellow stop. But at the end of the day, you don't want to go to a complete stop and shut the car off and boom, I'm done. You know what I mean? You want to keep your foot on the gas, just all gas, keep going. And so, old versions, I understand sometimes it's hard for people to turn away from that, but you know why? Because when you're hanging around the same old people you used to hang around when you were that person, your habits don't look for it to change, because it's not going to change, because you're constantly hanging around those same people. And the Bible tells us that we walk with the wise, we become wise. Proverbs 13:20. And so, if we're going to be wise this entire year, we got to start walking with wise people who are, set at a different standard. So that's why I wanted to talk about that this year. We often enter a new year with goals and these visions and, all these new year resolutions, but we forget, y'all, to release, like, us carrying old pain, habits, and mindsets, because that's what really blocks our growth. Just carrying all that old pain and stuff. We gotta tell ourselves that we're not gonna carry old pain into the next following year. We're gonna allow that to leave, so that we can walk into our next destiny and next season much better, much realigned, much thriving, much healed. You know what I'm saying? Much more of those things. And so, habits, anything like that, it's not gonna just go away overnight. And I understand that, but you got to at least work on it. You got to at least work on it. Like, you got to be able to say, okay, I'm gonna work on this at this time, and I'm gonna change things, and it's gonna be different. And be around people whose mindsets are blown away so that you can change your mindset. Because I know when I started hanging around like a lot of people who were like positive and thriving, it make you want to thrive. You ever been around somebody that just make you want to just thrive? You say, dang, I kind of want to do that. And that's the type of people you want to be around. People who makes you want to thrive and have better mindsets and the way you do things. You know what I mean? Because God doesn't pour new wine into old wine skins, y'all. Like, he don't do that. You know what I mean? So, and the thing about it, you can't receive what God has next if your hands are still full of old baggage, old pains, old habits. All these things that we're having and holding on to, we have to release that so that we can get to our next level in life and just let go. So, what we're letting go of is old versions of yourself. Somebody put in the comment section below, old versions of yourself, old versions. And so when you're letting go of old versions, you're becoming different and survival mode. Let go of survival mode and people pleasing, you guys, and shrinking just to keep other people comfortable. You ever, say, well, I don't want to do that because I don't want them to feel mad or bad, or I don't want to do this because I don't want to be, you know, making them feel jealous, or I don't want to feel like I'm bragging. It's not about that. It's about you. Stop shrinking yourself to make other people comfortable. Whatever God blessed you with, he blessed you with. I understand about staying, humble and comfortable and things like that, but and not comfortable, but just humble. Like, I understand about that. But if God blessed you, he blessed you phenomenally. So I want you guys to put in the comments and say this with me. I honor who I was, but I release who I no longer need to be. And we're going to say that 2 more times. I honor who I was, but I release who I no longer need to be. And last time, I honor who I was, but I release who I no longer need to be. And what that does, it helps you to affirm and declare the new person that you're going to become in 2026. So you guys no longer have to be that person who you were. And relationships that no longer aligns, this is where people need to be able to kind of lean in with this, so we need to talk about this, relationships that no longer align, we need to in my opinion, we need to release those. We need to definitely release that so that we're not sitting around and we're not sitting around with the old friendships that's one-sided. Thank you, Miss Linda. So yes, we don't need to be sitting around with one-sided friendships, and we don't need to be sitting around with connections that's built on convenience, not covenant. And so one thing I learned about myself, I had to sit down and reflect, right? And I realized that I was basically becoming friends with people based off drama, mess, um, gossiping, and those are not the type of friendships that you want to be friends with. Like, for example, if you're looking to have successful friendships that are, let's just say they're godly, they're not messy, no drama, it's just fun, and everything that y'all do are godly, and you talk about success or whatever that situation may be. You don't want to start the conversation off with gossiping, because that whole friendship is going to be based off gossiping. This my gossiping friend, like, because that's how y'all met, that's how y'all made that bond and covenant. So if you want to do things different, including myself, don't find friends and start bonding with them over gossiping, because that's how the whole friendship is going to be. And honestly, as a Christian, we shouldn't be gossiping anyway, you know. So don't have one-sided friendships where you're always reaching out, and then basically they don't even reach out at all, and they want you to reach out and do all the work. And so with those type of friendships, you don't want to have those type of friendships. And then any relationships that require you to abandon yourself, basically any relationships or friendships that require you to like basically forget about your schedule, your time, the things that you already kind of had planned, and they're just like always wanting you to do for them. That's the type of friendships that you don't need in your life. But here's the gentle truth, y'all, that I want you to understand. Letting go doesn't mean bitterness. It just means boundaries. Okay. And so that's something that I want y'all to like allow that to sink into your heart. That letting go is not bitterness, and it don't mean like, oh boom, I'm bitter because I'm letting go, I'm walking away. Because I think a lot of times when we want to let go of something, it feels like we're just like, dang, if I let go, they're gonna think I'm mad. If I let go, they're gonna think I'm bitter. Oh, if I let go, they're gonna think I'm acting funny. Or if I let go, I'm being childish. Or if I let go, I'm being ignorant, or whatever the situation. It doesn't mean that. It means I have boundaries. I'm now emotionally intelligent. So become that person, be different. So now we're gonna kind of talk about guilt, shame, and regret. So this is kind of based on like, oh, things you can't undo. You're sitting there worried about it, feeling guilty about it, and you can't undo the past. All you can do is allow the past be the past and look forward to your future. We're not living in the past, we're living for the future, and we're living for the present moment. We're not looking at the past. The past is the past for a reason. And to be honest with you, when the past happened and the things were bad in the past, it's not really a bad thing. It just builds you up to be the woman that you're supposed to be and the man that you're supposed to be. So think of the past as like, okay, I'm grateful for the past, because the past has actually taught you to be strong, to have courage, to confidence, all the great attributes and skills and personalities that you have in your life, and these core values. That's what built you to be the person that you are. So you got to be grateful for the past, and don't look at it that way. Just try to look at the past in a different perspective and watch you start flourishing. And decisions you already repented for, let those go, y'all. Let them go, okay? And seasons where you wish you looked different, those guilty things. So here's a faith anchor for you guys today. So, God doesn't keep bringing up what he already forgave, like towards you. He don't keep doing that. So why would you want to do it? So let that sink in. So another, attribute that I want to talk about today and letting go of what didn't serve you is unrealistic expectations, y'all. You know, when we think of unrealistic expectations, it's more like trying to be everything for everybody, trying to be everywhere for everybody, trying to be something for everybody. You can't do that. That type of behavior will drain you out. And comparing your pace to other people, y'all. I and myself had to learn that just because I see like another person over here doing something like bigger than me or more faster than me doesn't mean that mine won't happen or it won't go. I don't want to compare my pace to other people, because what God has for me, what they say, he has for you. And that's true. It will come in due time. You just got to learn to be patient so you're not rushing your process, because patience is much, much better. And thinking growth must look dramatic. Like, growth don't look dramatic, and it don't have to look crazy. It don't have to look a certain way. And you need to reframe your thoughts and your actions, because slow growth is still growth no matter how it looks. You still have growth. Even if it took you 5 years to get there, it's still growth. All you want to know is, am I growing? And that's just what it is, right? So now we're gonna like, I want you guys to work on this. I release, and say whatever you're going to release. And you can put that in the comments section if you want to. I want you guys to like close your eyes, breathe, pause, and just say, I release fear, or whatever you decide to release. For me, I release doubt. I release fear. I release doubt. And we're gonna continue to say that. And I want you guys to put it in the comments, so that other people can actually see, other things and maybe they can think of things. This will actually help. So we're actually helping one another. So this is our show together. That's why I call you guys the Kimspiration crew, because we're all together. Y'all are my crew. And yeah, I want y'all to put it in the comment section. I want you to be engaging so other people can see, like, okay, I'm not alone with this, and I can do this. You know what I mean? So put in the comments what you deciding to release, because I release fear and I release doubt. And I have a couple questions for you guys. So my first question is well, not really like a question, but I want you guys like fill in the blanks, okay? So one thing I'm leaving behind is, like, what are you guys deciding to leave behind? So one thing I'm leaving behind is gossiping. And I had already started working on that like toward the middle of the year or whatever, and I feel like sometimes I meet a lot of friends and they're always gossiping about somebody saying something, and I feel like I be just so intertwined with them because maybe my child is friends with them or whatever the situation. Or I might meet somebody at church, and to be honest with you, some of them be gossiping about people, and I just don't like gossiping because it tears down other people's character before you actually even get to know them as a person. So that's one thing I'm leaving behind is gossiping, doubt, and fear of being doubting different things, and fear, which means like, dang, I'm not sure. Like if you say I'm not sure if that's gonna, like, what it's gonna be like, it's kind of like a little fear. So we're choosing to leave that over there. So this year, what are you guys choosing? Like this year I choose peace over blank. So this year I choose peace over fear. And that's just what it's going to be, because I feel like God is calling me to release, what I'm saying? Fear, doubt, gossiping, like all of that. So for anybody who's watching, type release. If you're letting go of what did not serve you in the comments, I will be picking one person from the comments to be drawn into my giveaway for this month. So put in the comments, I release if you're letting go of this year, letting go of some things this year. And so I want you guys to finish this sentence. I'm leaving blank in last year, so whatever that may be. And I just want to help you guys to get to your destiny, and I want you guys to understand that letting go isn't for the, it's not for people who are weak, because it's not weakness, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's obedience. And sometimes, like for me, the bravest thing you can do is to trust God enough to release what no longer deserves you or serve you at that. So yeah. So if this spoke to you, this whole episode, share it with another woman. And like I said, y'all join me this month as we continue to heal, learn, grow, and just being aligned with God's word. And this year, we're going to stop dragging old seasons into new ones. And we're going to go ahead and pray out, and we're going to wrap up this conversation. So, God, just help us to release what you never intended for us to carry, and give us the courage to let go, the wisdom to discern, and the peace to trust you with what's next. And so that's kind of where we're going to focus on today. And for my Kimspiration crew, thank you for watching the Kim Abrams Show. And again, this is a place where you guys can heal, learn, grow, and just be inspired by the word of God. And I'm your host, Kimberly Abrams. And until next time, I will talk to you guys on the next episode.